Hello, I'm Joanna Wobuzor, Operations Manager of the Benedum Center for the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust. And I'd like to introduce Mark Fleming, our Vice President of Marketing, Communications, and Broadway Programming. Mark?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our PNC Broadway and Pittsburgh Town Hall meeting.
We're both very happy to be joined by many members of our Pittsburgh Cultural Trust family, including our dedicated Broadway subscribers, our loyal members, and our devoted group sales leaders. We have several special segments lined up that include representatives from within the Broadway industry, and also from Broadway Across America, our colleagues and partner in programming our Broadway series. They are all eager to share important information with you regarding the state of touring Broadway, or the road, as we like to call it. We'll also have a discussion featuring Dr. Joseph Allen, an associate professor at Harvard University's School of Public Health. He'll share some information with us regarding safe and healthy venue reopening strategies. We are also delighted to welcome our Broadway series sponsor, the PNC Foundation, and to thank them for their continued support. Now, please join us in welcoming one of the best bosses a person could ask for, Pittsburgh Cultural Trust CEO, Kevin McMahon.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us here. We are so thrilled to have our Broadway family with us here in the virtual cultural district. I must say that I could never believe that, and I'm sure you are the same way, that we've been without Broadway in Pittsburgh for nearly 8 months. It's just incredible. And I just want you to know how much we miss seeing you at the Benedum Center. Since March, we've had to cancel more than 4,000 programs and events here in the Cultural District. It's incredible. And all of us not only miss seeing you here at the Cultural Trust, but all of the restaurants and even the parking garage attendants miss seeing you as well. It's been very difficult, of course, and I know it's been difficult for many people. In the interim, in this intermission, this extended intermission, we've been trying to reach out to all of our constituents through some of our virtual programming. I hope you've had an opportunity to enjoy some of that, but we all know that looking on a screen is not nearly the same experience and fulfilling as seeing a program live and in person, and in Broadway's case, right here in Pittsburgh's Benedum Center. I want to promise you and ensure you that Pittsburgh will see Broadway again. We're already working very hard to make sure that we're lining up the very best Broadway shows when it's safe to do so. And I have no doubt that the challenges that we all face now will eventually be overcome. You know, throughout history, some of the greatest work has emerged out of crises. And I've been talking with some of the producers in New York. They're already working on some great new programs. And you, as a subscriber to our Broadway series, will be in line to see those programs first and foremost. And I can't wait, and I'm sure you can't wait either, to see some of those great shows. But in the meantime, I want you to know that we're doing everything we can to make all of our venues as safe as possible. We at the Trust want you to remain, during this interim period, safe and healthy too. The reality is we cannot and will not reopen our doors until it's safer to do so. And we will be doing that. And we will be working hard to make sure that we do everything we can to make it safe. Now, I also want to conclude by thanking not only you for your continued support, but also to our principal sponsor, PNC. You know, without PNC, we wouldn't have a great Broadway in Pittsburgh series. And they and all of our other sponsors really make that possible. So in addition to thanking you for your continued support, I really want to reach out and thank all of our sponsors, including PNC. So in this interim time, please continue to stay safe, enjoy best practices as best as you can. And until we see you in the Benedum Center lobby again, I hope you enjoy this little look behind the curtain of our PNC Broadway in Pittsburgh series. Have a good evening. Good night.
Thanks so much for joining us, Kevin. We are thankful so many of you took time to ask us your questions. And we've gathered a group of experts who can speak to what many of you have asked and what's on your mind. We'll be addressing your questions broadly, but if you have a question that isn't answered or if you would like more information about a subject, feel free to leave a message in the comments section. We are holding this town hall because we wanted to take a moment to make sure we are able to update you each time we have new information to share about the season, our venue reopening strategies, and information from experts in the field. This evening, we'll address these things while we're together, but for future updates, please be sure we have a current email address on file, especially if you haven't been receiving email messages from us. You can do this by logging into your account at trustarts.org. We'll also be updating trustarts.org/Broadway as new information becomes available. Mark?
As the person who has the honor of coordinating the PNC Broadway and Pittsburgh series, I'd like to echo Kevin's comments from earlier in thanking our subscribers, members, and group sales leaders who are joining us today. We simply could not bring these great shows to Pittsburgh or get through this difficult time without you. I took a look at my calendar today and I noticed that if this pandemic did not take place at this very moment, I would be joining all of our Tuesday night subscribers out there at the season opening performance of Hadestown. And I would be enjoying what is probably the most favorite part of my job. And that is watching all of you connect with what's happening on stage. And right about now, we'd be at the beginning of the first act, and I think that you would be rooting Orpheus on as he awkwardly makes his moves and tries to capture the heart of Eurydice. And I can close my eyes and I can see being there with you. I feel it in my bones. My soul actually aches for it. And I'm sure there are a lot of you out there that are feeling the same way. And I can also feel it in my bones that we will be back at the Benedum Center with sold out houses. But right now, I'm sorry to say that nobody really knows exactly when that's going to be. But we do want you to know what the very best people in the industry have to say about our road back. You may know that the PNC Broadway in Pittsburgh series partners with Broadway Across America. It is my pleasure to share with you a message from our close friend and colleague, Lauren Reed, regarding how Broadway Across America and Broadway in New York are tackling the complex challenges of this pandemic.
Hello, I'm Lauren Reed. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the John Gore Organization, whose companies include Broadway Across America and Broadway Across Canada. We bring touring Broadway shows to 47 cities across North America, just like yours. In addition to working for the John Gore Organization, I also serve on the Board of Governors of the Broadway League and am chair-elect of that organization. I think serving in both of these capacities gives me a great perspective in what's happening, not just around the country, but also in New York. So I want to give you a little bit more detail or insight, maybe behind the scenes look or information as to why touring theater is so complex. The logistics are complicated even in a good year. We work on shows and bringing shows to audiences usually about 18 months to 2 years in advance. That's how much work and planning and time goes into this. And it's because the shows are big. We have cast and crew and musicians that number 60 to sometimes 100 people traveling across the country. And coordinating that detail along with the 6 to 20 18-wheelers and all of the sets and costumes that are inside of them is challenging. And they need to travel in a geographically smart way. That means we can't jump from Pittsburgh all the way to Phoenix in 1 week time. We need a smart city by city, week by week traveling schedule and itinerary so that we can open on a Tuesday and close on a Sunday in any given city. We also have to look at the calendar availability of the theaters. The theaters that we have Broadway series in offer other shows in their building. So we share the calendar with the operas, the ballets, concerts, comedies, recitals, etc. So those calendars have to align, the show's calendar and the theater's calendar. And there's one more nuance that not everybody thinks about, and that's the calendar of the creative team. When shows are mounted, we need the actual director from New York to make sure that the cast and crew are rehearsed, actually selected and rehearsed. And we want the choreographer from New York to actually work with those casts to get the show up and on its feet. So those creative teams are awfully busy working on other shows. And in some instances, like in the instance of To Kill a Mockingbird, for example, which just had an incredible run on Broadway and continues to look towards other cities and countries. They're going to launch a touring company here in the US, and they're also going to launch a company in the West End. So we've got to coordinate the director, Bartlett Sher's calendar with those different tours and companies, both here and in other countries. It's a giant jigsaw puzzle, and we have to put all of those pieces together to make it fit. And that's what we're doing in New York. The producers, the booking agents, and the promoters and the theaters around the country to reorganize and assemble that to bring shows back to our theaters. You know, I know historically we all recognize that in hard times, something good comes from it. And what I can see and tell you right now and share is there is a lot of great work being developed right now in people's homes and studios. And I believe that the work is going to flourish. So once we actually play through these shows and bring them to you, there's a whole new set of shows that I'm excited to bring that are just waiting to be brought to stage. Some that were already in the works that I've seen in studio that I'm excited about are MJ, the Michael Jackson musical, using his music and based a little bit on his story, sensational performances, and bringing that actually from the studio to the stage, I think will be an exciting moment for us. In addition, I really look forward to Almost Famous, which I've seen a workshop of, and it's a tremendous take, live version of the movie with great music behind it. And also one kind of behind the scenes, I know they're working on a fan favorite that I think will be a big success, might be Princess Bride. So all three of those are in development and certainly in the making to bring. So I want to shout out to my friends in Pittsburgh and you subscribers. I know that the shows love the audiences at the Benedum, and we look forward to bringing a full package of shows to you very soon. Thank you for your flexibility and for your ongoing support.
We would like to thank Lauren and all of our friends at Broadway Across America for helping us figure out this three-dimensional puzzle to bring Broadway back to you as soon as possible. Next, we want to give the producer perspective. Sue Frost is the Tony Award-winning producer of two of my top 10 favorite Broadway shows, Memphis and Come From Away. She will dive into the dynamics and the economics of producing a show at this time.
Hi, I'm Sue Frost, and I'm the producer of the musical Come From Away. I'm here to tell you a little bit about the challenges we producers are facing as we look toward bringing our shows back to the road. The most important thing for us right now is, of course, health and safety of our company and of the audience. To talk a little bit about the challenges we have keeping our company safe. My show, Come From Away, is a relatively small show, which means we travel with about 60 people. And that means we have to think about their safety as we move from city to city, whether we're on an airplane or whether we're on a bus. We have to think about moving in and out of hotels. What are those hotels like? Do they have safety protocols? Are they cleaned regularly? We're working with the unions who are very concerned about their members and making sure that when they come back, they're in a safe environment. And then when we're at the theater, we're backstage together, we're in dressing rooms together, we're interacting with your local crews. Some of our orchestras are interacting with local musicians in a crowded orchestra pit. How do we protect everyone. So all of those things are things that we think about and we're working on and trying to develop a plan so that when we do come back, we can stay back and we can keep everybody performing. Remounting our show is going to present its own set of challenges, but nothing like the challenges that a brand new show is going to face, because not only do they have to put a show up from scratch and cast it and rehearse it and costume it and build the scenery, all of that has to happen in a safe environment, in an environment where people are protected and where we know that the end result is going to be realized in a timely fashion. It's a lot to think about, but think about all of these tours as their own worlds, and they travel around from place to place with truckloads of scenery and costumes and props and all of the actors and stage managers and company managers and band and crew and all of those little pieces that have to go back together again. And we have to know that the scenery's running smoothly, the costumes still fit, and the lights and the sound equipment are still working. One of the reasons it's going to take us a while to come back is we need to come back to full houses. The experience of sharing a Broadway show between the actor and the audience is unique and special. And socially distanced audiences are not going to create anywhere near the same feeling that a house full of people laughing, crying, clapping does. It is also not possible for us to make this work financially. We need to know that we can accommodate all of the subscribers in the week that we're in town. We need to know that we can meet our financial model and what it takes for us to travel from town to town, what it takes for us to present the show. That financial model requires full houses. But mostly it is that relationship between our actors, between our performers and you, and the energy that that you both feed off of creates that unique experience, which is a Broadway show. But we're going to get there. Don't you worry, we're going to get there.
Wow, that was some great information. Sue mentioned a few factors that I would like to highlight. That Broadway entertainment is not like going to the movies. The art form is truly live, with audience members being engaged participants. So the experience requires full houses for it to be at its best. And that financially, the business model just does not work with reduced seating capacities. Looking ahead at all of the ways we can get back to full theaters as soon as possible, I'd like to share with you a special discussion featuring Dr. Joseph Allen, an associate professor at Harvard School of Public Health, and Tamsil Fadel from Broadway Profile.
There are steps that the theaters can take to be able to welcome an audience back without social distancing before a vaccine is available to everybody. So what are those steps we're talking about?
Well, so first, it's really nice to talk with you and to talk to the community. I know everyone is really anxious at this time, and consumer sentiment is down about doing anything, going to a restaurant, going out to the theater again, and that's totally understandable. But I want to talk a little bit about the types of controls we can put in place that we know can keep people safe. And largely, these are derived from what we know is working in hospitals already. So in other words, in hospitals, they do a suite of what we call non-pharmaceutical interventions, or NPIs. That's universal masking, that's hand washing, and that's good building level controls like good ventilation and good filtration. What can't they do in a hospital? They can't distance, right? Because they're working with patients, people who are sick. So even in a high risk environment where you can't physically distance, we've been able to really drive down risk to healthcare workers since March with these basic set of very important, basic but important set of control measures.
Audience plays a big part in all this, obviously. What are the steps an audience should take when they're welcomed back to the theater?
Yeah, so this is really important because really the only way through this is with a large degree of social trust. Mm-hmm. And we tend to think about it in terms of creating a culture of health, safety, and shared responsibility. The shared responsibility is important, right? The theater has to do its job in terms of the building, the managing the flows of people. Performers will do their job in terms of what all the protections and precautions that need to be in place before the actual event. But the audience has a role to play too. They have to wear masks. They have to distance in the lobby. They have to follow the signage and follow the rules on queuing. And I also think it's a bit of an adjustment in terms of expectations. This won't be theater as usual. It shouldn't be. We're in the middle of a pandemic. So if we want to go back to these things, we're all going to have to do our own part here. We're going to have to play by the rules. It's going to be masks on.
Could rapid testing be a solution for theaters?
Yeah, I think it's going to be key. I want to be clear, though, that testing is not the only thing that needs to be done. But absolutely, the way we think about it is a layered defense approach, right? So we're talking about healthy building strategies. That's a layer. Masking, that's a layer. Hand washing, that's another layer. And when you add all these layers on top of each other, there's no such thing as zero risk, but you start to drive down risk. You can really reduce risk significantly. Now think about testing as one more layer up front, right? The testing is not perfect, but it's actually pretty good at this point. If you add that layer on, these rapid tests, people could take it day of, show that they're clear, still come to the theater, wear a mask, follow all the other rules, and that would also drive down risk significantly, as long as it's part of a holistic risk reduction strategy. And we know that these rapid tests are coming online. There are many more available. There are other platforms ready to come. I suspect this kind of rapid testing will be part of every theater's risk reduction strategy as we move into 2021.
I mean, really, arts is the next, place. We've seen it in restaurants. We're seeing it in a number in different stores now. It makes sense that we're going to be able to do this with the theater, but we all have to, this is really a community effort.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're starting to see, right, as you mentioned, restaurants, some airlines have started to use rapid testing. These platforms work, they're ready to go. I think it's going to take some education with the public and consumers about how they work and why they work, but also the limitations. So we say it's not just you do this test and then it's a free-for-all. You take this test, it's one more layer, and we have enough controls in place. We can start to do some of the things again that are what make us us, the things where we can get out and about, see other people, see our friends, see a performance, but it's going to involve some really, some precautions. The precautions are going to have to be in place. But I'm confident we can get there. We know how to keep people safe in buildings. I've done this for a long time. So we know what needs to be done, and we know a lot about this virus now. And if you follow stringent protocols, then I'm confident we can keep people safe.
As you've just heard, it's really going to take our whole community to come together to experience live theater again. Here at the Trust, we have a reopening task force that has been hard at work creating our reopening plans for you. It is very detailed, but perhaps, Joanna, you can give us a summary of the plan to date.
Absolutely. So our working document is titled Roadmap to Reopening. It considers the areas and practices that will benefit from new protocols and interventions, including overall healthy venue strategies, administrative procedures, rehearsals, production, operations, and audience interactions. Really every part of what we do. We plan to take a phased approach to reopening, beginning with our smaller venues. The roadmap to reopening will be tested, implemented, evaluated, and improved with each subsequent venue coming back online. The learnings will be quick, and updates will be disseminated on a daily or sometimes hourly basis as we move forward. All of the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust's COVID-19 related materials have been developed in conjunction with information from the World Health Organization, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, public health experts, industrial hygienists, and as well as global subject matter experts. Additionally, we are following the advice and guidance of national leader Dr. Joseph Allen, as well as local health officials at Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield and Allegheny Health Networks. Health and safety are on the minds of staff, artists, and audiences. Health concerns will be prioritized as we plan a return. In order for us to reopen, we ask that everyone follow the guidance of our elected officials and health and safety experts. Please wear a mask, maintain proper physical distance so we can all get back there sooner rather than later.
Thanks, Joe. Next, we want to give you the point of view of a booking agent. Booking agents typically don't get a lot of the spotlight, but they play a starring role behind the scenes in making the magic happen on stage. They have been working triple overtime with producers to reroute the 40 or so Broadway shows that tour in a typical year. To tell us more about how tours travel across the country is Meredith Blair, president of the booking group.
Hi, my name is Meredith Blair. I'm the president of the booking group, and I represent the national tours of Hamilton, Dear Evan Hansen, Come From Away, Mean Girls, the Book of Mormon, To Kill a Mockingbird, and many others. And I'm here to talk to you about the process of booking a tour. So to start with the basics, in order to get a show from point A to point B, you have to determine the size of the show, which determines how quickly you can travel. One of our objectives is to open in a given city on a Tuesday and close on a Sunday. Needless to say, some markets are closer to each other than others. Shows travel anywhere from a 3 to a 4 truck show to 25 to 30 trucks. Those are the big blockbusters. Generally speaking, most touring shows travel in anywhere from 5 to 8 trucks. The challenges of routing a tour are the availability of the venues. So if I'm starting in Buffalo, the next logical thing would be to go to Rochester or to go to Cleveland, but the venue that I need to go to next may not be available because they've got another show then, or the symphony is in the venue then, or there's a graduation, or there's any number of things or other commitments that the venue may have that don't make it available. So one of the challenges now in the current climate in booking a contiguous tour is that we don't necessarily have any consistency in what states are open when. So if I'm trying to get a show across the country, I need to know that I can get from Ohio to Iowa and that the states in between are open for business. But that's one of the many challenges that we're all trying to face in many different walks of life, not just in the theater business. The process has changed a little bit for us. No, it's changed a great deal for us over the past several months, having to deal with the shutdowns across the nation. So we are actively trying to put the pieces of the puzzle back together multiple times as the landscape keeps changing and as the timing keeps changing and as we continue, unfortunately, to live in a world where we don't have all the answers yet. So we're dealing with that reality, and we're booking and we're rebooking, and we will continue to rebook until we can get these shows back on the road and back to your cities. That's the goal.
As you can see, a ton of work is going on behind the scenes to schedule shows for you at the Benham Center when we're able to do so.
Thanks, Mark. Now is the part of the program where we address your questions that have not been covered. So Mark, put your answer hat on. I have some good ones for you.
Okay.
So one of the questions we didn't quite hear an answer to comes from one of our patrons. And it is, with the recent announcement that Broadway theaters are closed through May 31st, 2021, how does this affect the current 2020-2021 season in Pittsburgh as it stands right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. For all of our longtime subscribers, you know that every season you can look forward to a variety of shows from us, Tony-winning revivals, brand new productions, plays, and Broadway blockbusters. And for this season, you signed up for that mix of 7 great Broadway shows. And we are going to deliver 7 great Broadway shows when we're able to do so. And most importantly, when it's safe to do so. I can tell you that Hamilton is confirmed for its return in early 2022, and that will remain part of your subscription. In regard to the other 6 shows, there are no changes to announce at this time, but there may be some changes coming. We just ask that you remain patient as the pandemic continues to affect the entire industry, and you will be among the first to know when anything is adjusted. In the meantime, we will keep your seats safe and secure for you.
Thank you. We had a few questions along the same vein, so I'll combine them. So we had a lot of questions about what shows will actually be part of the schedule, and if the credits for canceled shows will be applied. How will all of that work, and how are you keeping track of it?
Yeah, it's a lot of balls that are in the air for sure. We are going to endeavor to keep the existing season intact if we can. If anything does change, we will always maintain a great balance of high quality productions for you. Please know that we have a wonderful ticketing system talking about all those details. They track all the requests, all the transactions. For those of you that have outstanding credits and change requests, we will be in contact with you to determine how to finalize your subscription, make adjustments, and complete your order well in advance of the first show when we know about our reopening plans. Again, we truly appreciate everyone's patience, understanding, and flexibility at this time.
Excellent. So the next question is an interesting one. Have you considered outdoor programming?
That is really a wonderful question that allows me to bring up an important point. While Broadway doesn't work for outdoor spaces, that doesn't mean that the Trust won't be exploring opportunities to present smaller presentations outdoors in the Cultural District. With safety as the top priority, we are looking into a number of arts experiences in the spring and the summer. In the meantime, we have a number of virtual presentations available, and I hope you'll check out our Women of Broadway series if you haven't already. All the information is on trustarts.org, and 2 more shows are streaming live to your homes in the weeks ahead.
Lovely. I had a couple people ask this next question. The question was, what can I do to help the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust and Touring Broadway come back stronger than ever?
Yeah, we really appreciate this question. We ask that you help move us in the right direction for a reopening by following the guidance of our health and safety experts, by wearing a mask and maintaining proper social distancing. Organizationally, the Trust has launched a campaign, Arts Connect Us, a critical fund for the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust. Those who give to the campaign will help bridge a $3 million shortfall in our 2020 budget due to all the event cancellations that Kevin mentioned at the beginning of this town hall. You can find more information about the campaign at trustarts.org. It's right there on our main page.
Excellent. That's good information, Mark. Thank you. And so our next question will be our last. And this one wasn't the most commonly asked question, but I think it's my personal favorite.
Okay.
The question is, how much hair has been torn out managing the logistics of all of this?
Oh boy, collectively, I think the staff has lost a lot of hair. For me, I think I've been fortunate. My hair, I think, is mostly intact, but this gray in the front of my beard here, that's entirely new. As my daughter Rachel likes to point out, much more than I would like her to.
Well, we have covered a lot of information throughout this event. Thanks to all our friends and colleagues for being part of this story tonight. We're reminded of passion and commitment by industry leaders and insiders we heard from tonight to find the right solutions to get Broadway back across America. If there are questions that we did not fully answer, please contact our guest services department at trustarts.org/contact. I'll give it to you one more time. That's trustarts.org/contact. Our team will be happy to return your message as promptly as possible.
We want to once again thank all of you for your support and for attending this town hall. We will be in touch. Please keep an eye on your email and on our website at trustarts.org/health for updates and special announcements.
We cannot wait to welcome you back to the Benedum Center as soon as it is safe to do so. The health and safety of our patrons, our staff and crew and the touring companies, everyone in the audience, on stage and backstage is of the utmost importance to us. Until then, stay positive, stay safe, and stay healthy. Thank you.